Welcome to another episode on the Rock and Roll Flashback podcast with your host, Jumpin John McDermott.
Thank you for that introduction and welcome to Rock and Roll Flashback. I'm your host, Jumpin John, and this podcast episode will deal with a man of multiple personas, David Bowie. It is part one of a two-part series I am calling The Boys From Bromley. This is a reference to London's Bromley Technical High School, a school that produced two extraordinary musical talents, David Bowie and Peter Frampton. David Bowie was one of the most influential and innovative musicians in popular music history. His work and discography was vast and diverse, and his impact so wide-reaching that it is difficult to do him justice. Consequently, in the interest of time, I will only attempt to summarize the highlights of Bowie's extraordinary career. David Robert Jones was born on January 8, 1947, in Brixton, London, England. As a youth, he developed an interest in music, art, and performance. By 1958, David had taken up the ukulele and tea-chest bass, begun to participate in skiffle sessions with friends, and had started to play the piano. That year, David arrived at the Bromley Technical High School, where he studied art, music, and design. One of his art tutors was Owen Frampton. In 1961, David met Owen's son, Peter, who also attended Bromley Technical School. Peter was 3 years younger than David. Frampton's band, the Little Ravens, played on the same bill at school as a band David performed with called George and the Dragons. Peter and David would spend lunch breaks together playing Buddy Holly songs. That musical connection would prove fateful years later. In 1962, 15-year-old David formed his first band, the Conrads. Playing guitar-based rock and roll at local youth gatherings and weddings, the Conrads had a varying lineup of between 4 and 8 members. When David left the technical school the following year, he informed his parents of his intention to become a pop star, and he soon left the Conrads. Inspired by early rock and roll artists, jazz musicians, and rhythm and blues performers, he was determined to learn how to play several instruments, including guitar and saxophone. During the early 1960s, he performed with a succession of local bands. In 1966, another musician, the singer Davy Jones, was becoming famous as one of the Monkees. So David Robert Jones, reportedly inspired by the Bowie knife, adopted the stage name David Bowie. Bowie's early recordings achieved little commercial success. He spent much of the 1960s searching for a distinctive artistic direction. During this period, he experimented with folk music, pop, theatrical performance, and songwriting. While many artists might have become discouraged, Bowie viewed these years as an opportunity to learn and develop his craft. Bowie's first major breakthrough came in 1969 with the song Space Oddity. The song told the story of Major Tom, an astronaut who becomes detached from Earth during a space voyage. The song's imaginative lyrics and atmospheric production would eventually capture public attention. Major Tom would later reappear in several Bowie songs, becoming one of the most famous recurring characters in rock music. Space Oddity was recorded at London's Trident Studios on June 20th, 1969. David Bowie played both the 12-string guitar and stylophone analog synthesizer in addition to singing. It is also noteworthy that Rick Wakeman added a Mellotron track on that recording. On July 11, 1969, Space Oddity was rush released as a single to capitalize on the Apollo 11 moon landing. It received critical praise and was used by the BBC as background music during its coverage of the event. However, that release only reached number 124 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. It also initially sold poorly in the UK, but soon reached number 5, becoming Bowie's first chart hit in the UK. A 1973 reissue by RCA Records became Bowie's first U.S. hit, reaching number 15 on the Hot 100. Then a 1975 reissue became Bowie's first UK number 1. He re-recorded an acoustic version in 1979. Several promotional videos were produced for the song, including a 1972 one filled by Mick Rock. Space Oddity was a mainstay during Bowie's concerts until 1990. It became Bowie's first significant hit and established him as an artist willing to blend science fiction, storytelling, and popular music. Although Space Oddity brought recognition, Bowie still had not fully defined the artistic persona that would make him a superstar. Here is David Bowie's 1969 version of Space Oddity.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today, for here am I sitting in a tin can. Spaceship knows which way to go.
Everything changed for David Bowie in the early 1970s. In 1971, he released the album Hunky Dory, featuring songs such as Changes and Life on Mars. The album showcased Bowie's growing confidence as a songwriter and demonstrated his ability to combine sophisticated lyrics with memorable melodies. The song Changes had been recorded at Trident Studios in London in July 1971. Co-produced by Bowie and Ken Scott, it featured Rick Wakeman on piano and the musicians who would later become known as the Spiders from Mars, Mick Ronson, Trevor Bolder, and Mick Woodmansey. Changes was ranked at number 200 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time in 2021. It is one of 4 Bowie's songs to be included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 Songs That Shaped Rock and Roll. In 2016, the American Recording Academy inducted Changes into the Grammy Hall of Fame. 1972 brought the release of one of the most celebrated albums in rock history, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Bowie created the alter ego Ziggy Stardust, a flamboyant and androgynous alien rock star sent to save humanity. The character allowed Bowie to blend theater, science fiction, fashion, and music into a complete artistic experience. Concerts became dramatic performances rather than simple musical presentations. Songs such as Starman, Suffragette City, and Rock and Roll Suicide became classics. Bowie's bright costumes, dyed hair, and bold stage presence challenged traditional expectations of gender and celebrity. For many fans, Ziggy represented freedom, individuality, and creative self-expression. The Ziggy Stardust era transformed Bowie from a promising songwriter into an international star. In 2017, the Ziggy Stardust LP was selected for preservation in the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress, being deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. In 2020, Rolling Stone ranked it 40th on their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Here is David Bowie's version of Suffragette City.
Just put my spine out of place. Hey man, my school is insane. Hey man, my work's down the drain. Hey man, but she's a total blam blam. She said she had to squeeze it, but she, and then she, oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket back from Suffragette City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you ain't got time to check it. You know my Suffragette City was out of sight. She comes, oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket back from Suffragette City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you ain't got time to check it. You know the Suffragette City is out of sight. She's alright. Oh, hit me. snuck off to the city, strung out on lasers and slashback blazers, and ate all your razors while pulling the waiters, talking about Monroe and walking on Snow White. New York's a go-go and everything tastes nice. Poor little greenie. Ooh. Get back on it. Genie lives on his back. Genie loves chimney stacks. It's outrageous, he screams and he moans. But Genie, let yourself go.
Many performers would have continued using a successful formula, but Bowie rarely stayed in one artistic place for long. After the success of Ziggy Stardust, he released Aladdin Sane, a pun for A Lad Insane. The album's famous cover photograph, featuring Bowie with a lightning bolt painted across his face, became one of the most recognizable images in music history. Bowie dabbled with glam rock, but his musical voyage would be one of constant reinvention. Later in 1973, Bowie shocked fans by retiring the Ziggy Stardust character during a concert. Rather than being trapped by a successful persona, he preferred to move forward creatively. In 1974, Halloween Jack became Bowie's new persona in the Diamond Dogs LP. The album peaked at number 1 in Great Britain, number 1 in Canada, and number 5 on the U.S. Billboard chart. In a 2013 readers' poll for Rolling Stone, Diamond Dogs was voted Bowie's 5th greatest album. David Bowie developed a cocaine addiction in the summer of 1974 following the release of the album Diamond Dogs. Nevertheless, on March 7, 1975, Bowie's 9th studio album, Young Americans, was released. A departure from the glam rock style of previous albums, the record showcased Bowie's interest in soul and R&B. In 2013, Young Americans was voted Bowie's 9th best album in a readers' poll for Rolling Stone. The song Fame was the closing track on the Young Americans album. Co-written with John Lennon, in 1975 the song only reached number 17 on the UK singles chart. However, Fame became Bowie's first number 1 in the US Billboard Hot 100 chart and also hit number 1 in Canada's singles chart. Bowie's continuing success demonstrated his ability to thrive in different musical styles. Here is an excerpt from David Bowie's version of Fame. By the mid-1970s, Bowie introduced another persona known as the Thin White Duke. This character appeared during the era of the 1976 album Station to Station. Station to Station was a commercial success, reaching the top 5 on the UK and US charts. The music combined rock, soul, and emerging electronic influences. Songs became longer, more atmospheric, and more experimental. Bowie was pushing beyond conventional pop structures and preparing for another major artistic transformation. Station to Station has frequently appeared on several lists of the greatest albums of all time by multiple publications. In 2020, Rolling Stone ranked it number 52 on their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Here is an excerpt from David Bowie's version of Golden Years.
Hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Angel, come up, baby. Look at that sky, life's begun. Nights are warm and the days are young. Come up, baby. There's my feet, they lost, that's all. Once I'm begging you, save a little soul.
Although the music from this period was acclaimed, Bowie later acknowledged that he was experiencing personal difficulties and struggling with substance abuse. Seeking a fresh start, he relocated to Europe. Many critics consider Bowie's late 1970s work among the greatest achievements of his career. Living in Berlin, Bowie collaborated extensively with Brian Eno and producer Tony Visconti. Together they created 3 groundbreaking albums, Low, Heroes, and Lodger. These records became known collectively as the Berlin Trilogy. Bowie blended rock, electronic music, ambient sounds, and experimental production techniques. At the time, these albums were considered adventurous and unconventional. Over the years, they proved enormously influential.
I wish you could swim like dolphins can swim. Though nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever. Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
The title track from Heroes became one of Bowie's signature songs. Its message of hope and resilience has resonated with listeners for generations. Many artists in alternative rock, electronic music, new wave, and post-punk have cited the Berlin Trilogy as a major influence. While Bowie had long been respected by critics and musicians, the early 1980s brought his greatest commercial success. In 1983, he released Let's Dance, produced by Nile Rodgers. It was the first time on an album that he only sang and played no instruments. Its polished sound and strong dance rhythms introduced him to a new generation of listeners and made him one of the world's most recognizable performers. The album produced several major hits. The single Let's Dance peaked at number 1 in both the UK and US. China Girl peaked at number 2 in the UK and number 10 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Modern Love peaked at number 2 in the UK and number 14 in the US. Popular music videos were created for Let's Dance and China Girl. By selling 10.7 million copies worldwide, the Let's Dance LP became Bowie's biggest-selling album. Upon release, Let's Dance entered the UK albums chart at number 1 and stayed there for 3 weeks. The album peaked at number 4 on the US Billboard Top LPs and Tape chart and remained on the chart for 69 weeks. All of Bowie's albums he released between 1969 and 1974 began to chart again, and by July 1983, Bowie had 10 albums in the UK Top 100. In 1989, the album Let's Dance was ranked number 83 on Rolling Stone's list of the 100 best albums of the 80s. Here is an excerpt from David Bowie's single version of Let's Dance.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Let's dance to the song they're playing on the radio. Let's sway while color lights up your face. Let's sway through the crowd to an empty space. If you say run, I'll run with you. If you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms, tremble like a flower.
In May 1983, to support Let's Dance, Bowie embarked on his first concert tour in 5 years. He would become a major concert attraction in the 1980s, filling arenas and stadiums around the globe. One highlight of the decade occurred in the summer of 1985, just weeks before the historic Live Aid concerts. David Bowie and Mick Jagger joined forces to record an electrifying new version of Martha Reeves and the Vandellas' Motown classic, Dancing in the Street. The collaboration was originally conceived as something even more ambitious. Bowie would perform the song live from London's Wembley Stadium, while Jagger sang from Philadelphia's John F. Kennedy Stadium, linking the two continents during the global charity broadcast. However, engineers quickly discovered that the satellite transmission introduced a half-second delay, making a live duet impossible. Neither Bowie nor Jagger was willing to mime their performance, so the idea was abandoned in favor of recording the song together in the studio. The pair completed the recording and its now iconic music video in an astonishingly short amount of time, capturing the spontaneous energy and playful chemistry that made both artists international superstars. Released just days before Live Aid, the single became an instant sensation, raising substantial funds for famine relief in Ethiopia. The single topped the UK singles chart for 4 weeks and reached number 7 in the United States on the Billboard Hot 100. It also topped the charts in Ireland, the Netherlands, Spain, Australia, and Canada. The video featuring Bowie and Jagger dancing exuberantly through an empty warehouse quickly became one of the defining visual moments of the MTV era and remains one of the most recognizable charity singles ever produced. Their spirited performance captured the optimism surrounding Live Aid and demonstrated how two of rock's biggest icons could channel their star power into a record that was both a commercial triumph and a force for humanitarian good. David Bowie's talents extended beyond music, and he had a sideline as an actor, and he appeared in numerous films. He was also a painter, a writer, and a creator of the first modern celebrity bond called Bowie Bonds. He was one of the first artists to engage with his fans directly through his website, Bowie Net. Even after achieving massive commercial success, Bowie refused to become predictable, and he continued to experiment. While 1987's Never Let Me Down LP was poorly received by fans and some critics, it nevertheless reached the UK Top 10, and its 3 singles all reached the UK Top 40. The album is significant in that Bowie reached out to his old classmate, Peter Frampton, whose career had been languishing. Bowie hired Frampton after listening to Peter's latest album, Premonition, and Frampton contributed lead guitar to the album. Frampton also joined Bowie's Glass Spider Tour. That world tour supported the LP and was at that point the biggest, most theatrical and elaborate tour of his career. Unfortunately, the tour, like the Never Let Me Down album, was commercially successful but critically panned. The critical failure of the album and tour were factors that led Bowie to look for a new way to motivate himself creatively. In an effort to regain his artistic vision, he created the rock band Tin Machine in 1989. Although reactions to Tin Machine were mixed, the project allowed him to work within a democratic band environment rather than as a solo superstar. David Bowie did not release another solo album until Black Tie White Noise in 1993. In the 1990s, Bowie explored industrial rock, electronic music, and alternative styles. Albums such as Black Tie White Noise, Outside, and Earthling reflected his continuing interest in contemporary musical trends. Unlike many artists of his generation, Bowie remained curious about new sounds and technologies. He embraced the internet early and often discussed the transformative potential of digital communication long before it became commonplace. The 2000s brought renewed critical appreciation for Bowie's entire body of work. Albums such as Heathen and Reality received strong reviews. After a health scare in 2004, Bowie largely withdrew from touring and public appearances, leading many fans to wonder whether he would record again. Then, unexpectedly, he returned. In 2013, Bowie released The Next Day, his first studio album in a decade. The release surprised fans and critics alike and demonstrated that his creative abilities remained intact. Bowie's final studio album, Black Star, was released on January 8, 2016, his 69th birthday. The album incorporated elements of jazz, art rock, and experimental music. Listeners soon realized that Black Star contained themes of mortality, farewell, and artistic legacy. What initially appeared to be another innovative Bowie album became understood as a carefully crafted final statement from an artist fully aware of his circumstances. Critics immediately praised its ambition and originality, and many now regard Black Star as one of the greatest farewell albums ever created. Sadly, just 2 days after its release, David Bowie died from cancer on January 10, 2016, and the news shocked the world. David Bowie's career was defined by constant evolution. From the folk-pop experimentation of the 1960s to the glam rock spectacle of Ziggy Stardust, the soulful sounds of Young Americans, the electronic innovations of the Berlin Trilogy, the worldwide success of Let's Dance, and the artistic triumph of Black Star, Bowie repeatedly transformed both himself and the landscape of popular music. During a career that spanned more than 5 decades, he continually reinvented himself, explored new musical styles, and challenged conventional ideas about rock stardom, identity, fashion, and artistic expression. David Bowie is the recipient of numerous accolades, including 6 Grammy Awards and 4 Brit Awards. During his lifetime, Bowie's record sales were estimated at over 100 million worldwide, making him one of the best-selling musicians of all time. In the UK, he achieved 11 number 1 albums and was awarded 9 platinum, 11 gold, and 8 silver albums. In the US, he had 5 platinum and 9 gold. 4 of his songs are included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 Songs That Shaped Rock and Roll. His UK or US number 1 singles included Fame, Ashes to Ashes, and, with the band Queen, Under Pressure. Bowie was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996, the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2005, and the Science Fiction and Fantasy Hall of Fame in 2013. In 2004, he was 39th on Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Artists of All Time. A 2013 poll by BBC History named Bowie the best-dressed Briton in history. In 2022, David Bowie was announced as the best-selling vinyl artist of the 21st century. He ranked 32nd on the 2023 Rolling Stone list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. A separate list by Rolling Stone magazine had ranked him as the 39th greatest songwriter of all time. More than a singer, songwriter, or performer, Bowie was an artistic innovator who challenged assumptions about what a rock star could be. His ability to combine music, theater, fashion, visual art, and storytelling created a body of work unlike any other in popular culture. Today, David Bowie remains not only one of the most celebrated musicians of the 20th century, but also one of the most influential creative figures of the modern era. His music continues to inspire listeners to embrace imagination, individuality, and the courage to reinvent themselves. His impact reached far beyond music, influencing film, visual art, theater, and popular culture around the world. Thank you for listening to another episode of Rock and Roll Flashback, where I reviewed some of the highlights of the career of the inimitable David Bowie. This episode is part 1 of a 2-part series called The Boys From Bromley. Be sure to check out part 2 of the series, where I review the career of Peter Frampton. I will close out this episode with David Bowie's studio version of Changes. So, fellow travelers, I hope that you won't be caught on a million dead-end streets. May your path be smooth and your music always be rockin'.
And until next time,
rock on, rock on, rock on, rock on, rock on.
Oh, yeah. waiting for, and my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets, and every time I thought I'd got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Ooh, yeah. I watch the ripples change the size, but never leave the stream of warm and permanent sand. So the days float through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Don't tell them to grow up out of it. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Where's your shame you've left us up to our next event? Time may change me, but you can't trace time. Strange fascination fascinating me. Our changes are taking the pace I'm going through. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Oh, look out, you rock and rollers. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Pretty soon now you're gonna get older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I said that time may change me.